I can't hear you, Claire.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Love technology. Great. Okay, I'll start that again. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have you all here. I'm so excited for everyone watching the replay. And I'm so excited. This is like the first thing that I've properly launched on my own this year. So I'm just super stoked for this. I know that everyone that has joined the chat, it is popping already, and I'm so freaking excited to just see where you all are on Friday. This is going to be what I'm going to say before I dive in, because once I start, there's no stopping me. So what I'm going to say before I dive in is, as with all my trainings, leave your egos at the door, allow things to land, allow yourself to be activated, and allow the immersion. Okay, so forget everything else going on, forget the ego when it's coming in and questioning, okay, but how do I do that? How do I do that? What does she mean by this? Just let it be what it is in this moment, and take it away and sit with it and allow that to soak in for 24 hours, and then come back and watch it again, and you will notice that shift of perception change. So I am just going to change my screen quickly. There we go. Now I can see everyone. Now I don't feel alone. Okay, right. So welcome officially to Iconic as Fuck, which I know every single woman here is already, because you have all shown up for yourselves. You are all here live, regardless of what shit is going on in your lives, regardless of what time it might be for you. You have put aside time in your schedule to show up for you. That, in my eyes, makes you a freaking icon, because most people don't do that. Most people don't do that. They make excuses. They put things off. They say, oh, I'm really busy at the moment, I'll fit it in later. We're all busy. We all have lives. We all have shit to do. It's how much you value something and how much you value yourself. Right? How much are you going to pour into yourself? Because that's what this is. This is a pouring into each and every one of you, from me to you, but also from you to you, right? You are giving yourself this time. You are here for you first, for you first. So I want to just give kudos to absolutely everyone here and say that I see you all. And I think you're all freaking amazing. And I know that everyone here has exactly everything that they need already. It's just a case of tapping into it and unleashing it into the world, right? Just unleashing it. That's all that needs to be done. I am probably not going to tell you anything you don't know already. I'm not claiming to come here with some kind of secret sauce that you don't already have. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you everything that I have embodied over the last 10 weeks or so that have catapulted my new Instagram page to position me to such a level of authority that a lot of people would say is undeserving, right? It's like, how did you do that? You know, what are your credentials here? I've only been a coach for a year. I've only been a coach for a year. So where's that come from? Where does that stem from? And that's what we're going to dive into. So for anyone that is new in my world, hi, I'm Claire. Like, realize I've just gone right in there, balls deep, as always. So I'm Claire Garner. I am a single mum of 2 girls. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for a decade. I have 3 businesses, soon to be 2. I'm in the process of selling one. And mentorship and speaking is my life. It is my passion. It is everything that I am about, empowering other women to be who you truly are, not who you think you should be, or who you've always been told you should be, or how you think you should show up, who you truly are in your core, and allowing that to seep into the world. Because the longer that we hide it, the longer that we give disservice to the people that we're here to help, and the people that look up to you, right? Your community that look up to you. They are looking to you as their leader. And so you owe it to them as well as yourself to embrace that fully, unapologetically, in your full power. And that's what my world is all about. So let's rewind about a year ago. Okay, so a year ago, just over a year ago, so beginning of 23, yeah, beginning of 23, I started on my self-development journey. Okay, so coaching was new to me. My other businesses were in corporate and they were in product, right? In crystals, in product e-commerce. Self-development, yeah, I had read some kind of self-help books, a little bit of that, but coaching, this kind of stuff was completely new to me. And I started immersing myself. I started having my own coaching. My very first investment that I ever made in a coach was £20,000 because I was just like, that's what I do, right? I'm just like, if I'm in, I'm in. Like, I don't fuck around. I'm just like, okay, I'm here for this. If I feel something that lights me up, I just go in because I follow my passion and I follow that calling. So I went into this high level container for 9 months, had a whole massive journey, which I won't go into the depths of now because we don't have time for that. But I came out on the other side knowing my purpose, knowing what I was here to do. And before I didn't have that. I had success, I had money, I had on the outside what looked like the perfect life, you know, come out of an abusive relationship, now had all my shit together. I was earning multiple 6 figures in 2 businesses, taking my kids on holidays, everything that you think would equate to what more do you want, right? But for me, it always felt like there was something missing. It was like, I know I'm meant for more than this. I know this is not big enough, right? This is not big enough for what I am here to do. The energy that I have inside me, the power that I have inside me, I knew was meant for something so much bigger than what I had even scratched the surface of before. And so that's when I really found the movement and the mission of really creating a global impact, a global footprint, a legacy that long outlives me. That's my aim, right? To leave something that long outlives me, that impacts women everywhere from every corner of the freaking world. But I had to go on that self-development journey to find that. And when I found that, that enabled me to start following that passion. Now, how this all came about is during that time, I had a very successful, again, air quotes, right? Successful Instagram account called Empowered Phoenix Rise. And that had around 10,000 followers at the time. And that was built on the back of my crystal business. Okay, so those people were in my crystal world. That's what it was. That's where it stemmed from. And that was a very successful business. Now, when I transitioned into coaching and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do now. Like, this is where my passion is. In my naivety at that time, I thought, that's okay, I'll just switch it over. They'll all come with me, or the ones that don't, you know, that's fine. They'll just remove themselves and that's fine. And I was not prepared for what happened next, because what happened next is every single day I would go on to that account and I would see hundreds of people had gone. Every single day. I would get to a point where I would wake up, the first thing that I would feel was anxiety. And I would look at my phone, like literally trembling, thinking, how many people have left me today? That is what happened to my mental state. I had placed such power on these numbers on an Instagram account that actually has no representation of me as an individual in any way whatsoever. But because I had given my power away to those numbers, it had power over me. And for about 3 months, my mental health went like this. It went down and down and down as I saw the numbers of the followers go down and down and down, to a point where it got to about 7,000. So this was like 3,000 people had left me, right? Had abandoned me. What the fuck did I do to deserve that? I'm trying to help people. Like, why don't they like me? Why don't they like what I have to say? Like, I'm trying to help you guys. Like, why aren't I good enough? These were all the thoughts going around in my mind. And I didn't know how to shut it off. because I thought if I want to be this coach, if I want to be this mentor, if I want to be this speaker, I need an audience, right? Like I need people to actually talk to who are going to listen to me. So what the fuck do I do? Same was happening on my TikTok. I was big on TikTok before. Same thing was happening. And so I started a second Instagram account, Claire Garnett Official. And for about 2 months, I had one foot in both, right? So I could not fully let go of the old account. And I was clinging on for some kind of desperation, some kind of hope that somehow miraculously it was going to reignite, that something would suddenly turn around, that people would suddenly realize how freaking great I am, and they would all come flocking and everything would be okay again. And that never happened. And that never would happen because they were not an aligned audience with who I was now, with who I had become. And that's okay. Right? That's okay because we're not meant to be for everyone, but I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it go because 7,000 people, 7,000 people. What if just one of them wants my message, but they're not seeing me? I need to be here for them, right? But at some point, we have to say, my energy is being drained here. This is taking so much of my mental resource that it is literally making me shake to even open up my Instagram. That it's making me cry, feeling like I've been abandoned all over again, like I'm not good enough all over again. Like, where is my self-worth? It's in the hands of these people that I don't even fucking know. I don't know 7,000 people. I don't know who they are. They're not people who I know. They're just numbers on a screen. And yes, behind every number on a screen is a person, but it's not necessarily a person for us. And so the pivot point for me, which brings me into what we're going to be talking about, was I joined a high-level mastermind on the back end of last year, December. And that in itself, I put this in the chat, but that in itself at the time was a question for me because I had already invested, I don't even know, right, 30, 40,000 pounds in self-development and coaching that year. I lost count. So I was at a point where I was like, do I really keep investing in myself when obviously this isn't working now, right? No one's buying my shit. Like no one is working with me. No one is working with me. I have no clients in my coaching world. So do I really still invest more money in this when I'm not seeing any return? I'm not getting anything back. Like, do I just give up? Maybe this isn't the path for me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe this isn't my calling. I was mistaken. And so I joined this mastermind because I had one chat with Nick, who I know a lot of you know. And as soon as I joined, I had this conversation with her. And I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is what I should be doing. And she said to me, you know, are you lit up by it? You know, do you feel that it's your purpose? And I was like, well, I did, but now I feel lost. You know, I feel like no one wants me. Then what's the point? What's the point if no one wants what I'm here to offer? And so the very first one-to-one that I had with her, she said to me, and I'll never forget, she said, why don't you start a new account? And I said, well, I've tried that. I've got a new account and it's not growing. No one's on it. There were about, I don't know, 50 people on it. No one's engaging in it. It's not doing anything. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. No one fucking wants me, right? No one wants what I have to say. and she said, and this is why mentors are so great, right? And she said, but you've still got your old account. You're still posting on that. And I was like, well, yeah, you know, like just in case, like kind of hit it with both barrels, right? Maximize the opportunity. There might be someone there. There might be someone there. And what I realized and what she obviously pointed out for me was that whilst we have, and this is what I was saying in, I can't remember if it was in the chat or a post that I made, but whilst we have one foot in both worlds, whatever that is for you, We can never fully commit. We are never fully in it. It never has 100% of us, because we always have a backup. We always have a plan B. We're always half and half. We're always trying to maximize the opportunities. And by trying to maximize the opportunities, we're minimizing our energy because it's being spread too thin, because we're not giving it all to this one place that we need to channel it into. And so I made the cut, right? Like, I severed it. I was like, okay, I'm fucking doing it. I'm going all in. I'm cutting it off. And that decision changed the trajectory of this year for me. That one decision, which seems so small, right? All I did was stop posting on an old account. That was it. That was it on the surface. But underneath the surface, there was a whole lot of other stuff that I had to let go of. I had to let go of giving my power away to these numbers, of attaching my self-worth and my self-belief and my self-value to these external numbers. I had to stop hoping that one person would crawl out of the shadows and make me feel good about myself. I had to start building that within me first. And so when I made that cut and I made that final decision, and this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to talk about when we go into the releases in a minute. When I made that final decision, it was like a clean slate. It was like all of the past had been washed away, and it was now time to pave a whole new path where nothing had been grown before. There was no path that I had to stick to. There were no rules that I had to adhere to. I got to create it my way now because I chose to release the old beliefs that were keeping me stuck, essentially. With all that said, welcome to Being Iconic as Fuck. And I want to say, right, what does iconic mean? What does iconic even mean, right? You guys, everyone here has come to join this masterclass without any cell of a tangible, okay? I have not told anyone that you're going to be getting 10K months, that you're going to be, hitting your six figures, whatever it is. I've purposely not said anything like that because I wanted to attract the women who are here for more than that. Who are here for more than that, because the money has to be the byproduct. The money has to be the byproduct. This is about your purpose. This is about your mission. This is about what you are here to do in the world. And that is so much bigger than someone saying, here, let me help you make 10K months. Okay, great. Now what? 20K? Okay, now what? 30K? Now what? Been there, done that. You still feel empty. If you are not in alignment, if you're not in your purpose, if you're not in your calling, if you're not in your dharma, on your quest, whatever these words are that you want to call it, if you don't have that, it doesn't matter how much fucking money you bring in, you will still feel unfulfilled. I promise you, you will still feel unfulfilled. And so this is about reclaiming all of that power that you have been giving away to external things, people, objects, places, money, you name it. Reclaiming that power. Bringing it back to you. That is being freaking iconic. Owning who you are in your core without any apologies, without any pulling it down, without any filtering. Bringing it back and showing that, because that is what your people are waiting for. That is the missing piece. That is the secret that you're all trying to find when you're scrolling constantly, trying to look for what hook you should use next, how you should word this, what call to action you should use, what you should be saying, what you should even be talking about. Should you even be talking about this? Maybe this isn't relevant. The thing that is missing is your personal freaking power behind it. How much energy are you bringing to that party? How big are you showing up? How much space are you taking up? Because I guarantee you, when I look at anyone's profile, I can tell you straight away how much you are showing up. And it shocks me. And it saddens me. It saddens me. That's probably a better word. It saddens me that so many freaking amazing, powerful women are dimming their light. They are not playing full out. They are just scratching the surface. So, with all that said, we are going to go into the releases. Okay, so I have a list in front of me so I don't forget, because you know I can talk. All the things that I have had to release through this journey to get to where I am now. And I want to say to you that we can only join the dots looking backwards, right? Like Steve Jobs said, you can't join them going forwards because we don't know what we don't know. This is literally why we work with mentors, right? Because we can't see something that we don't even know we're missing. We cannot see a blind spot. That's why it's called a blind spot. So we can only join the dots looking backwards. And that's what this masterclass is all about. I'm here to show you my dots that I have joined up and that I believe have got me to the point where I am now, to the point where 7- and 8-figure leaders in their sectors are coming onto my podcast. And even more than that, they are lapping up my energy when we're chatting after. And it blows my freaking mind, because 3 months ago, I would have pedestaled the fuck out of these women. Why? Because they make more money than me. Does that mean anything? Does that mean that they're better than me? Does that mean that they have more authority than me? Does that mean that they have more expertise than me? Does it mean that they're more worthy than me? No. Absolutely freaking not. Okay, so there will be a lot of tangents through this masterclass, okay, I warn you now. So the things that I have released. Now, if you've got a pen and paper, feel free to write these down, but I will send slideshows, Deirdre, I see your pen. I will send a slideshow at the end of the week with everything that we cover, okay? Because I know some people prefer visual, so make sure everyone's got what they need. So the first thing that I had to release was looking for the secret outside of myself. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know, because this is what I'm saying. When we're scrolling, right? You know that's what you're doing, because that's what I was doing. You are looking for the nugget. What is it? What is the common denominator that all of these successful people are using and I'm missing it? What is it? And here's where people get tripped up, right? Because they see the strategy or the hook, or, you know, how they've worded their caption, and they think that's it. That's the secret. That's the strategy they're using. I've seen her use that. I've seen her use that. That's it. That's it. I'm going to do that. And then you try and do that. And it's crickets. And worse, it also didn't feel good when you made it, right? Because you're trying to force it so much. You're trying to make sure you don't miss that secret essence of what it is. You're kind of taking it word for word and you're just changing the words to yours, but you want to keep it as similar as possible, but also as you as possible. And so you end up with this kind of mess that you send out that isn't even a true reflection of who you are. And so firstly, if you did happen to attract someone with that post, they would not be a dream client because they were attracted to someone that wasn't actually you. They were attracted to someone you were trying to be. And this is why it is so important to not get caught up in the noise. Because the secret that all of these successful people that you look up to have is owning their power. It's owning their power. It's owning who the fuck they are. That is the secret. And what happens is when we are in that power, we will receive the best possible strategy for us. And so, yes, that worked for them because they received it. They got the download. They were the ones who were meant to birth that into the world. It wasn't meant to be replicated by every fucking body else. It was meant for them. So we have to stop looking for the secret outside of ourselves, misinterpreting what it is in the first place anyway, thinking that it's the strategy, when actually the secret is in the embodiment of who the fuck they are. That's not something that we can replicate, right? That's something we have to find within ourselves. I know I talk fast, so you'll have a replay, don't worry. So the secret is in that personal power. Because it honestly doesn't matter what hook you use, what call to action you use, how you phrase your words. The only part of that that matters is that it is a true reflection of you. Because if you're trying to be polarizing when you're not really that way inclined, it's not going to work for you. If you're trying to be soft and gentle, but you're more kind of ballsy, it's not going to work for you. You have to tap into that personal power and own it, because that is who you are. That is who you are. And that is what your people are waiting to see. And they don't know that that's the thing that's missing, right? Because it's energy. It's energy. They don't know that that's the thing that's missing. But as soon as you start bringing it, then you'll start seeing it. She's coming, Crystal. I know. I see her. I see her. So that is the first thing that I had to release. Okay. Looking for the secret in everybody else's success, in everybody else's strategies. Because success does leave clues, but it is a crappy teacher. It is a crappy teacher. We have to find that success in ourselves first. We have to find that personal power first. Which brings me nicely, and you will notice a lot of these like merge into each other and they kind of tie into each other. So that brings me nicely into the next release, which was, I know a lot of you will know this one, pedestaling. You know, especially if any of you watch my masterclass on Fuck the Pedestal. So pedestaling, again, is something I didn't even know I was doing. I didn't even know I was doing it. It was a terminology I hadn't even come across before, if I'm being honest. And when I started learning about it and noticing that that's what I had been doing, it was like a holy fuck moment. My mind was blown. And just in case anyone is like I was and doesn't know what pedestaling is, it is when we put someone literally on the pedestal. So we are placing them higher than us for external reasons. External reasons. They make more money than me. They've got more followers than me. They've got more experience than me. They got nicer clothes than me. They got more holidays. It can literally be anything, right? But we place it on a pedestal above us. And when we do that, again, we give our power away. We give our power away. We're saying, you're better than me. You're better than me. You're higher than me. You're above me. And I don't want anyone to get this confused with the journey, right? So there are 100% people who are further along the journey and they have the codes that we have not yet had and they can help us collapse time. But that does not mean that they're better than you. That does not mean that they are higher than you. It just means that they are further than you. Okay, so not height, distance. To make sure that you don't confuse those two. I've been putting people on pedestals since I was 5 years old. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And how many of us don't even know that that's a thing? We don't even know that we're doing it. So I had to stop pedestaling anyone that I looked at as having more followers than me, making more money than me, and inherently then thinking that they were better than me. Because what that did is it kept me attracting unaligned clients, right? Because I wanted to attract a higher caliber client. And again, you know, we're using these terminologies. Higher caliber doesn't mean higher as in they're better. It just means that they are self-led, that they know themselves and they trust themselves to make decisions. That for me is what high caliber means. Doesn't mean they're better than anyone else. It just means that they have more emotional intelligence generally. Okay. So when we pedestal anyone for any reason, we also block ourselves from attracting the dream clients that we say that we desire, the high caliber clients that we say we desire, because, well, if we've got a new Instagram account, or if we haven't got many followers, or we're not getting many likes, then they're probably going to have more followers than you. They're probably going to have more clients than you. They're probably even going to be making more money than you. But does that mean that you can't help them? No, of course not. Because we all have our own experiences. We all have our own journeys. We all have the codes that we have learned along the way. What you might know, they might not know. What, did I say that right? It's what someone makes, what someone shows up as, how others perceive someone else has nothing to do with hierarchy, with how good or bad or better or worse someone is. So if you want to attract high caliber clients, which, you know, we all do, because we all want to work with women who are self-led, who know that it's worth investing in themselves, right? We don't want to be here trying to convince people that they should invest in themselves. Like, they need to know that shit. They need to know the worth in their self-development. We don't want to be hand-holding someone to make an investment in themselves. That is the difference between attracting high caliber and someone who is unaligned. And so when I was pedestaling, I was still attracting the people who were like, well, I really like what you do, but, you know, what would be my ROI? Or how quickly will I see, you know, a return on investment? Or how quickly will I get 1,000 followers? How quickly will I see 10K months? And it's like, I don't fucking know. That's not my job to know. Like, that's your job. Your job is to immerse yourself in everything that I help you with, everything that I teach you, everything that I bring to the table with who I am and the energy that I allow you to be in when you're in my space. It's your job to take that and to produce tangible results. It is never our job to produce tangibles for our clients. So also, on the flip side of that, you cannot pedestal a client's results, because every client will be different. Someone might come to you and not see any tangible results, but the internal shift they've had is worth its weight in gold. The downloads that they've had in your space is worth more than any kind of money that they could get. So again, also, you don't want to pedestal money, because money is the byproduct. We have to always make it about us. And I know a lot of people say that it should never be about us, right? That it's always about the clients. Well, I'm on the fence with that, because I believe that to start with, it should be about us, because we have to do this for us first. Because if we don't love what we are doing, then we are not bringing our 100% to the table. And you can try all you want, but I guarantee you, you won't be. Because there's part of you that doesn't want to be doing it. There's part of you where your soul is literally dying, saying, why am I doing this? This is not what I want to be doing. So it has to be for us first. And then for the clients. And then for the collective. So pedestaling, number 2. Okay, hope everyone's keeping up. I have a sip of water. Man, I can talk. Okay, third release, ego. You know that one, ego, my good old friend. Ego has been a very interesting journey for me because ego is something that I've always had in abundance. And I've always been shamed for it massively, right? You know, especially when you're kind of teenager, like young adult. And if you've got that kind of confidence in yourself, a lot of people will see that as ego. And that is essentially what happened to me. I was really confident in who I was. I knew who I was. And yet, whenever I would bring that to the table, it was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, you know, pipe down, like, calm down, it's all right. like back in your box. Like, we don't need that much, you know, like tone it down a bit. That kind of thing. And so ego gets confused a lot with confidence. And so what happens is we then start building up these defense barriers around our confidence because we've been so like damaged by other people's projections onto it, that then our ego builds up these barriers around it to keep us safe. Because we don't want to be hurt. And so then that turns into bravado. And that's where the ego comes in. That's where it's like, okay, you don't want too much. I'm going to give you too much and I'm going to give you more. Because our ego then takes over and it's like, well, you've hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back, right? It's that kind of defense mechanism. And it's like, it builds these walls around us. Whilst they're still there, we can never truly be coming from our heart space because we are protecting ourselves, essentially. That's what our ego does, right? It protects us. It doesn't want us to get hurt. It doesn't want us to feel, you know, sad or kind of projected on. It just wants none of that. So it builds up the wall around us to deflect. And so when we're in our purpose, right, when we're wanting to create such a big movement in the world, and we have these defense mechanisms up as the ego, it's hard for people to connect with us because we're not opening our hearts. We're not really sharing our true selves. We're putting on that front. And this is probably one of the hardest ones that I have had to do, because it is very, very hard, especially when you are confident, to know the difference. To know the difference between is this truly me or is this my ego? And so the way that I have kind of come to decipher that question, if you like, is I just sit with it for a minute and I just say, if no one was seeing this, if I was just creating whatever it is for me, or, you know, it can be in any respective, if I was just creating this bit of content for me, let's say, would I say it this way? Would I be showing up this way? Or would it be different? And that is a really great way to kind of rein it in, right? And I don't mean that by dimming it down, but I mean reining in the ego and noticing if it is coming up. And this can show up a lot if we get triggered. Another big one. It's like if we get triggered and then our ego comes in, it's like, oh, I'm really inspired. I'm going to create a piece of content right now. And then it's like, it's quite kind of spiteful, right? And it's not necessarily aimed at someone, but we're coming at it from a place of my ego has been wounded. Someone has just like not agreed with me, or someone has like said something that I don't agree with. And this is my belief. And now I'm going to retaliate. This is ego. So we have to be so self-aware of what we are creating and the energy that we're in when we are creating it. We'll go more into that tomorrow, but the ego is something that we have to release. I cannot tell you the amount of ego deaths I have had in the last 10 weeks. It is like every fucking time I have a call with my mentor, oh my God, over and over again. And it hurts, right? It hurts. It dents our pride. It humbles us. But our ego is the one that wants us to think that we know it all already. And so we have to kill that so that we can open ourselves up to be receptive and to say, I don't know it all. And I need to evolve. I need to start contradicting myself, because that is evolution right there. So ego is a massive one, a massive one. Okay, like I'm running out of time. I should speed up. Okay, next one, minimizing your gifts. And I know some of you do this because I've seen it on your pages. So when we're creating content, I'm talking about it a lot in the content context, because obviously that's a big part of this masterclass, but you can obviously take this in any concept, right, of your life and of your business. So minimizing our gifts, really like not owning how freaking amazing you are. Well, you know, I've done this like 10 years ago, but since then I've not really seen much. Whoa, 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 back up, back up. You did what? You did what? That's fucking amazing. No, but after it, you did what? Own your gifts, for the love of God, because you have all got so many gifts. And the longer that we dim that down for, the longer that we take that away from the people that are waiting for us to help them. They need to see the confidence that you have in yourself to have confidence in you. If we want anyone to invest in us, or if we want anyone to invest in themselves, they need to see that you have confidence in yourself. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, how is anyone else going to invest in you and have confidence in that decision? They need to see you owning your gifts. And I know so many of you are probably thinking, but they're going to think I'm full of myself. I don't want to be too much. I don't want to come across as full of myself, right? You know, that kind of like thinking that I'm better than them. That's ego again, right? Owning your gifts is personal power. Personal power. You are freaking amazing. And the sooner that you accept that, the sooner the world can benefit from it. I think this is the core of what shifted. I had clients when I had my inner confidence. Exactly. Exactly. Because if we don't have confidence in ourselves, no one else is going to have confidence in us. And they're certainly not going to pay us. Because why would they? If you don't believe in you, hell, I'll be damned if I am. I don't even fucking know you. You know you. You've been with you for how long? So our clients want to see that confidence, because that is what they want from a leader. And everyone watching this is a leader in our own rights. If you're an entrepreneur, no matter what you do, you are putting yourself out there as a leader. And leaders need to be confident. It has to happen. It has to happen. So stop minimizing your gifts and start freaking owning how amazing they are. Okay, I'm going to speed up a bit. Next one is releasing the tangibles. I know, again, like everyone I'm saying, like, I know you guys know this. Releasing the tangibles. I had to stop creating content and showing up with the thought of, is someone going to DM me from this? Is someone going to buy from this? And if no one did, seeing it as a failure, seeing it as crap, seeing it as people don't like me. I had to release the tangibles and create for me first. And I don't want to go too much into tomorrow, but what I mean by this is when you are showing up in your business, whether it's online, offline, making content, making courses, doing women's circles, whatever it is that you do, you should be so freaking turned on by whatever it is that you're doing in that moment that you physically would not be able to stop yourself from doing it, no matter if anyone came or not, because you would not be doing anything else in that moment because it was that freaking good. And you only get that when you release the tangibles. You're saying the opposite of everything I've ever been taught. Yeah, sounds about right. Unconventional over here. And listen, right? I am not dissing what anyone else teaches. I am just speaking from what I have experienced. Okay. This is my personal journey. Take and leave what lands and what doesn't. But this has been true for me and my clients. So you have to release the tangibles to be able to create from that place of pleasure, from that place of power. So much so that when you start looking over your grid, you're just like, oh my God, this is like freaking epic. Like, I can't tell you how often I actually binge my own stuff. And I'm just like, it's fucking amazing. I can't believe that I created this. It is that fucking good. I don't care how many likes it gets, how many follows it gets. Like, my stuff gets hardly any engagement. And that doesn't even enter my mind anymore, because that is not how I see conversion. I see conversion in my DMs. Because again, high caliber clients that we all desire, they don't sit scrolling social media for hours on end, pressing hearts on everyone's fucking reels, commenting, oh, this is so great, I love this, thank you, thank you. Maybe once every now and then, but most of them are going to watch you on the sidelines. They might not even follow you, right? I have people in this masterclass that weren't even following me when they signed up. So what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything. It means what we say it means. So you have to start releasing those tangibles, because you don't know what is happening in other people's worlds, right? In their orbits, in the quantum field. You don't know. I know, someone on here, I can't remember who it was, but she said, I've literally just told 2 people about you tonight and they're joining the masterclass. And I don't know these people. I didn't know that she had been talking about me. We don't see that. That wasn't in my posts that other people saw. That was nowhere to be seen. And had she not told me that information, I would not have been privy to it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, right? It's like that notion of, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there, did it still make a noise? So we have to release the tangibles, because the truth is we don't know half of what is happening behind the scenes. Okay, next one. It's like 4 more. Playing not to lose. Again, I mean, they're all big ones, but playing not to lose. So showing up mediocre, showing up for the sake of showing up because you feel like you have to show up, but you're not going all out. You're not stretching yourself. You're not pushing yourself to the edge of your creativity. You're not pushing the limits of what you dare say. You're not really stretching in maybe what you're wearing or how you're showing up in your personal life, right? The real world as well. These 2 worlds intertwine. You can't be one on one and one on the other. It all has to merge, to the point where I've now started showing up in the school run in, like, sometimes, you know, like my red stuff that I wear, and people are like, you going somewhere? I'm like, no. I'm going to the school run. Because that is who I am now. That is who I am now. And she doesn't give a fuck what other people think, because that is not my business. And I don't have the mental capacity to waste caring what they think, because they are not my people. It literally doesn't matter. So playing not to lose is by still trying to blend in, still trying to not be seen, trying to get clients, trying to attract enough, but you're not doing anything that is going to make a tidal wave. You're just skirting around the edges. You're just like dipping your toes in the pool, thinking, oh, fuck, that's cold, and then not even jumping in. You have to jump. There's been this ice bucket challenge recently in Money March. I don't know if anyone's part of it, but everyone's doing these ice baths, right? I haven't done mine yet, hats off. But some people, you see them like literally they're prolonging the pain. They're like dipping their toe and then the other foot and then the knees, and it's painful even watching it. Like, just fucking do it. Just get in, because the quicker you're in, the quicker you learn to regulate, the quicker you learn to swim, if you're like not in a bath. Like, the quicker you adjust and adapt. But the longer you prolong that pain, you're just dragging it out, right? And for what? For more pain when you get in there. But you have to just make the jump. I did my ice bath challenge. Yes. I love that. I will do mine. I will do mine. So playing not to lose is just like being like everyone else, right? Talking about how to make 10K months. I swear to God, it makes my soul die every time I freaking see it. Because everyone says that. How does that make you any fucking different? How can you become iconic? How can you create a massive impact in the world if you are doing what every fucking body else is doing? If you are talking how everybody else is talking? You're not remembered, you're not recognized, and you cannot be iconic if you are not remembered or you're not recognized. You have to be visible. And to be visible, you have to do something different. You have to do something that captures people. Be someone that captures people. And that can be through so many things, right? That can be through how you talk. That can be through how you show up. That can be through things that you wear. You can do that in so many different ways. But if you are just doing what everybody else is doing, you are playing not to lose. And yeah, you'll do okay. You know, you'll make money, you'll get by. And that'll be it. There won't be anything extraordinary. There won't be any legacy. There won't be any footprint. And I know that's what you all want. Okay, right. last few. So next one is holding on to past stories. Okay, I'll do the last few a bit quickly so we don't go too over. So holding on to past stories, as in, I've tried that before, didn't work, won't work again. I released a course before, no one bought it, so that doesn't work. Like I said, right? Well, I've tried starting a new Instagram. That didn't work. There's no followers. Replaying our past as the future projection. And as long as we do that, that is the future projection until we change that narrative. And we say, you know what? I get to choose different. I get to choose a different outcome. My past does not dictate my future. I am different now. I am not that same person. Even if it was last week, you're not that same person. You've had new codes. You've had new experiences. You've had new perceptions since then. You are not the same person. You've had that experience. You didn't have that experience before. You are different. Therefore, the result will be different. Unless you tell yourself it will be the same, in which case it will be the same. Okay, 3 more. Fear of judgment. Had to let it go. And this was hard for me because I've been bullied all of my life, right? Like at school, I was really, really bullied. As a teenager, really bullied. And even as an adult, when I started showing up on social media, really bullied. So this has been a common narrative in my life. And we have to come to a point where we ask ourselves, you know, how much more of this can I take? Because if we want to create something big, that requires visibility. If we are going to put ourselves in that position, it is going to trigger people. Regardless of what you do, you could be fucking Mary St. Magdalene and you will trigger people. Okay? Like, it doesn't matter what you do. You will trigger unhealed people in your world, whatever that is. And if you want to achieve big and you want to create big, you're going to trigger big. And so I had to sit with that. And I had to ask myself, right? I had to do some shadow work. I had to do some deep inner work and say, is this something that I can live with? Is this something that I can learn to let go? That I can learn to release, because I know it's not mine. It's not my story. It's their story. And I could, because I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I would never, ever feel fulfilled as long as I kept in the shadows. And so that was a price I was willing to pay, right? If you want to look at it like that, it was a price I was willing to pay for the future that I desired. And so that's something that now I don't even give space to. I no longer even read those kind of comments. They block and delete, block and delete. And actually, ironically, it's literally just landed now, I didn't even think of this before, but I don't actually even get them that much anymore either. Because you get to a point where if you're not like engaging back, these people just find someone else to do it too. And yeah, that's not nice, but that's just what they're going to do, right? That's just their story. And that's something that they need to deal with. It's not our job to heal the people who are not ready to be healed. So fear of judgment, letting that shit go and just saying, you know what? I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me first. I am showing up fully as myself so that other women can show up fully as themselves. That is literally what I do. I do this to show you that you can do this. That's it. So yeah, I do it for me first because it makes me feel good, right? Because I'm being me, yay. But also, I get to tell all of you it's okay. It's okay over here. In fact, it's more than okay. It's fucking best feeling in the world because you no longer care what other people think. Claire, what was the one right before holding on to the past stories? Playing not to lose. But don't worry, I will send out slides as well. Okay, so fear of judgment. We've got two more. Okay, force. Force. Making it happen. Trying to control the timeline. Trying to control every fucking thing for that matter. Trying to create content when we are not in the creative flow, trying to force it because we haven't posted yet today and we need to show up, but I don't know what to say. So I'm going to scroll for 5 minutes and get inspiration and then we go back to the beginning. Stop forcing it. The more you take your foot off the gas, this sounds counterintuitive, right? But the more you take your foot off the gas and you actually start playing, start having fun, start being in your pleasure, start, God forbid, living your life. When you start doing that, you will get the creative downloads in those moments, not when you're sat at your MacBook trying to force it. You have to stop forcing it. And again, it's me, right? I've been there, done that, got about 10 billion of the t-shirts. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it feels icky. It feels horrible, right? Trying to make something that is just not flowing. No one wants to do that. So instead of sitting here trying to make it happen, take yourself away, go and do anything else, right? Go and have a massage, go for a walk, go and jump around for 5 minutes, go literally anything that makes you happy. Because it's in those moments that you will open the creative channels, I promise you. Okay, and then the last one is consuming and comparing. So again, like we touched on, I would consume for inspiration, right? Because, hey, I'm a generator and I'm meant to respond to the universe. So I need something to respond to. And I'm saying this because generators are most of the population. So most of us here will be a generator or a mani-gen in human design. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter. but I would be consuming to get inspiration and then fall straight back in that trap of, like we talked about earlier, not even necessarily meaning to do it, right? But you're seeing it as inspiration, and then you're taking it, trying to make it your own, and it's just not your own, because again, you're trying to force it. So I stopped consuming virtually completely. I don't really scroll Instagram. I don't really consume social media. The only accounts that I follow are either clients or mentors or inspirational people to me. I don't follow anything negative. I don't follow any like friends or family who are just like, you know, gossiping and that kind of stuff. I don't have space for it. I don't have capacity for it. It's just not welcome in my world. So I would highly recommend to filter through who you follow on your socials and literally cull it. Cull it. And I mean cull. Properly. Cull. Be brutal. Be ruthless, because it's your life. You don't owe anyone shit, right? You don't owe someone a follow because they followed you. That's not how this works. You only follow accounts for me. So like I said, I only follow accounts that are clients, mentors, or people that inspire me. And on the back of that is comparing, because when we consume, we compare, because we're humans and that's what we do. So we're not only consuming and getting distracted by what they're saying, we're then also comparing ourselves to someone else's success, someone else's story that we don't even know the back of, right? We don't know what they've been through. They might talk about it a bit, but we haven't been them. We haven't lived their life. We haven't walked in their shoes. We do not know what they have gone through. And yet we're quite happy to say, she just had 100K day and I haven't had 100K year. Like, and then our self-worth goes down, our self-belief goes down, and our creativity goes down, and our desperation goes up. And so we fall into that cycle again of trying to create in order to get a tangible result, trying to then match their success, because when we get that, then we'll feel good again. We have to feel good in ourselves first. So consuming and comparing are the last two codes that I had to release. Oh my God. Looked at the clock, it's like 10 past 8. So that is day one. That is, I would say everything, but it's not. It's literally the surface of everything that I released. But I think it gives you enough to start with, right? There are some really easy things that you can start to implement right now on the back of that. And the question always is, will you? Because I can't hold your hand and do it for you. I can't sit in your DM saying, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? That's up to you, right? I'm not gonna reach out and say, how's it going? You have to lead yourself through it. You have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to walk the path yourself. I can walk it with you, but I can't walk it for you. So that is the end of day one. I would love everyone to share in the chat a little bit after your biggest takeaways, what has come up for you, what you're going to work on first. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you all on the other side.